3 weeks ago, I had an awakening shift, which has been profound for me, but it's also impacted my wife. And that's what we are going to talk about. Alex, how has it been for you?
Well, let's not sugarcoat it. At first, I was devastated.
Yeah.
It was really weird. He came home from this retreat, and I think what's funny is that we hadn't really given any thought to this retreat.
No.
I mean, we hadn't even discussed it. We're really busy. We've got big jobs. We've got 2 kids. It just kind of crept up on us. And you hadn't thought about it either. And actually, I only found out the day before he went that no one could contact him during this retreat. So I was like, well, you're going to have to send me the emergency numbers. And he forwarded me an email. And there was a kit list on there and he needed a torch and all sorts. So I was like, have you sorted that? And he was like, I didn't know I needed that. Like, this is how little thought had gone into this. So anyway.
And do you remember, actually, as I was leaving, it's quite funny in hindsight.
I was just going to say
yeah,
that.
go on.
So I went to wave him off at the door. The kids were at school and he got in the car and I went, don't lose your mind. Come back awakened. Like,
but I did, and I said something like, imagine if I come back enlightened.
We were like, ha ha, bye. Anyway, so fast forward how many days? 4 or 5 days?
So that was on a Thursday and I came back on the Monday, put the kids to bed, and then you and I sat on the couch.
Yeah, by which point I'd noticed he was
when the
different.
tears came.
Yeah, he was really different. So I think that probably the best way to describe us is that we can be a little bit reactive. Would you say that?
Not anymore.
No, not anymore.
Yes, I think that's fair. Like we both come from a bickery background. I think it's fair to say. Yeah. So I think bickering has been.
No, but I don't really mean the bickering. I mean just reactive, like big reactions to things. You know, it's not. I wouldn't say our household is a particularly calm household.
Well,
not to say it's unpleasant, but just it's not particularly calm. So when he got home, it was very weird. He came in and was kind of just like this. And there wasn't much going on. It was a bit like you weren't there. And I was like, what's going on here? This is weird. And then, we put the kids to bed and had a chat about it. And I was heartbroken. I was really upset. You were saying things like you were talking about yourself as, well, not yourself. You were talking about Simon and how you didn't feel like Simon. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? I'm thinking this is going to lead to divorce. Like, where's my husband gone? It was like one of those weird films where someone's been replaced with someone else and you think it's them and it's not. It was kind of a bit like that. So,
and I remember you saying to me on the couch, you seem, certainly remember you saying the word calm. You seem very calm.
It was striking. It was striking.
Yeah, strikingly so. And then, you said that you felt a sense of abandonment.
Oh yeah, I felt a huge sense of abandonment. I was like, where's my husband gone? It felt like the rug had been pulled from under me. Obviously this was initial impressions and I am also reactive, so I leapt to the worst and was thinking we're probably going to end up getting divorced.
And I was aware this was going on, but still couldn't react, literally could not react. So I had to leave you, not leave you, but
you didn't leave me.
I didn't leave you, but I couldn't react as I previously would have done. I was just like, well, this is what's happening. This is okay. This is fine.
You didn't get angry or storm off or anything.
No, nor upset or anything.
No,
it's just like
which again was very disconcerting because usually if one of us gets wound up, the other one gets even more wound up, and then it turns into this thing. And
that's been
didn't happen.
Grist for the mill in the past, I think that's it.
So anyway, so we had this conversation. I was quite upset. We went to bed.
Next morning, chaotic normally the mornings because we're getting the kids ready for school.
Yeah. And
I remember you were tense.
I was going to miss my train because I'd lost my phone.
She wasn't, and I knew she wasn't.
I'd lost my phone, and this is a little snapshot of how annoying it can be when he's calm all the time. So I had lost my phone, couldn't set off for work. Was kind of ransacking the house. The kids are running riot, and it was all a bit stressful. And I noticed that he wasn't affecting him, and usually he'd be yelling as well, or something would have gone wrong, and he was very
zen.
I
remember for me, I literally couldn't rush. I could only do, and can still really only do, what felt the right next thing to do in the moment. So
And
that was number one.
he told me he couldn't rush. So that was
Yeah,
infuriating.
that drove her up the wall.
because
So I couldn't
we need
rush.
to rush.
And then it was really striking to me because I could sense that in this environment where it is normally chaotic, it is normally quite stressful, I felt zero stress. I was so, it's fine. Everything's fine. Everyone's going to get off on time. The capacity, it wasn't just there wasn't a desire for reactivity, the capacity for reactivity had gone. Gone. So I think that was when perhaps you probably still found it irritating, but perhaps saw another side. But it was
no, I still felt very abandoned. So I then went off to work, distraught, really upset all day, thinking, what's going on here? My husband's changed hugely. I really felt like, where's he gone? Came home, and again, we got the kids to bed, and then we had.
Was it that
chat.
day you rang me and said, "Do you love everyone now"? Was it that day?
Might have been.
So you rang me,
yeah,
and said, "Do you love everyone the same now?" And obviously, I have to be honest, and so I said, "No, it's not like that," because it's not like that. It's not a question of, "Oh, I love this person, this person, this person." It's more a question of our true nature is love. So the heart, or my heart, is fully open, and so it's not like the loving goes on particular people. It's just open. It's our nature, and so that was very clear to me. And obviously, it's not the easiest thing to explain that, but hopefully it satiated your need for assurance to some degree. Anyway, but then you came home.
So I came home and we had another chat. And actually, at this
was that not the night I cooked you dinner?
Let's not get bogged down. Doesn't matter. Initial reactions. So then I am still quite reactive and he's not. And also I would like to add, actually, I'm not coming at this from a place of somebody who has no clue about any of this sort of thing. I have experienced non-duality in my out-of-body experiences. We have done a video about that previously. So it's not like he's come home to somebody who's like, this is mental, what's going on, this is completely weird.
And can I just quickly add on that for me in that first week was really important, because it wasn't destabilizing for me because there was that complete lack of reactivity, but at the same time it was such a noticeable shift. I did wonder if I'd completely lost Simon. And
when he was saying things like that, that was what was upsetting. That was upsetting me.
But to be able to at least be open about that with Alex, because of the fact that we've both been on this path individually and together for so long, was helpful for me in that first week, because there were moments where it was a bit scary. Anyway, so just to add that, I think if you weren't into it, that could have been challenging.
But also, I think that although I was upset, I was still very supportive.
Oh yeah, hugely.
Like, you phoned me and you were all discombobulated, and I was like, I think you really need to go and take yourself off for a walk. You need to go and be in nature. And I was very there for you.
Hugely.
I wasn't just running around hysterical. This was kind of more processing within, really. Anyway, I come home from work that night and the house is spotless and there's candles on the table and he's made dinner. Now, this is unusual, would you say?
Well, I've always made dinner, but I've never followed a recipe in that way. I've never put that amount of thought into it. And I certainly haven't laid the table and lit candles in the middle of the week.
Ever.
And this wasn't something like, oh, I need to reassure my wife that everything's fine. It was more just like, this is what I really want to do. And it's been like this ever since. Like, my food tastes have changed. Like, we're basically vegetarian completely, more or less, now. And
which we have gone through periods of in the
past. But this has been, and every night it will get to 5ish and I just want to be in the kitchen making a vegetarian recipe, following a recipe. And so that's not from a calculating or a position of, oh, this is what she might want. It just feels like the right thing to do.
Yeah, so I came home to that and thought, this isn't so bad. And I think one of the things that really winds me up and upsets me is that our house is very messy.
Quite messy. Has been quite messy.
Yeah. Chaotic, needs work doing to it, structural work. It's just not, I don't find it a particularly homely environment.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
I like it. Carry on.
He's really annoying. So anyway, and it was just so lovely to come home to. And our eldest had got involved with the cooking as well. You'd had a really lovely afternoon with her. She was having a great time. And then I think we had another chat that night, and it became clear that you weren't just a grinning idiot anymore. You were coming slightly back online, and we were having I was fascinated. We were having really interesting talks about it, and I think something had happened at work or something, and you were very supportive. Like, I realised you were still there, and I think also we were having a laugh, because I think that was probably the thing that I was most worried about, because we do make each other laugh a lot. And if that went, that would be pretty disastrous.
Yeah, and I recognise that.
Yeah. So when you came home just like, I was like,
Was it like that?
oh my God, you were a bit like that. I was like, oh, will we still be able to watch The Office? Anyway, we can.
Yeah, the humour's still there.
The humour's still
it's
there.
just the neuroses that have gone.
Yeah. So I mean, for you, what would you say the biggest shift has been? And I don't mean in terms of the recognition that you've had. I mean, in practical day-to-day terms.
Well, first of all, I just want to add, you came back and you said when you had that moment of discombobulation on the first night, and you had felt like, oh gosh, have I lost my husband, and are we going to have to get divorced, which I was aware of but just couldn't react to. Then when I'd made dinner and you realised that I was still there, you came out with a lovely line. You realised, oh no, Simon's still here. It's just Simon 2.0.
Yeah, Simon 2.0. Like, I've had a big upgrade. So he's tidier, he's calmer, and that calmness radiates out through the whole family and the whole house.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. Yeah, sorry, go on, carry on. That calmness, how's that been for you? And observing it with the family.
Yeah, so at first it was really weird, and that's just because obviously you become really used to things, and when the other person is then not playing their part in it, it's a bit like you're in free fall, like, what's going on here? But it was interesting observing it mainly in our eldest, who is also quite explosive like we are, and we were getting ready for school one morning, and she flew off the handle, and you didn't react at all. And because there's nowhere for that to butt up against, she just dropped it. And I was like, this is actually really great. And then, yeah, like, it's mildly annoying if I'm riled up and I'm kind of looking for a row.
Which to be fair, you have been a bit today. She's been spoiling for a fight before we got on, and I can't bite. It's quite fun.
Yeah, but actually it's brilliant. And I think that we have spoken a lot about a book that we wanted to read, a parenting book, which is about when the parents change, the children change or something. And I think that actually that is what this has done, but it's not just the kids, it's us as well. And I think that, again, I think we've spoken before about our dynamic, our anxious avoidant dynamic, and that has kind of gone.
Yeah.
It may well come back, but it's certainly.
Well, that was it, wasn't it? Once you got used to it, once I'd started making dinners, you felt very secure.
Well, it wasn't that you started making dinners.
No, but I think
obviously that was a nice byproduct, and he is still cooking. I've got myself a house husband,
and fastidiously clean as well.
Yeah, would have been really
and
handy.
organised.
This had started a few years ago, but here we are.
So,
but no, that's not the only reason. Like, I realised you were still you, and the fact that we can talk about it, and of course I am really interested in what's happened and the process that he's been through and how it's evolving and how it compares to experiences that I've had.
So let me just answer the question you said, which is, what have I noticed? Like, what's been the biggest impression? That non-reactivity has been very interesting to notice, that dynamics, whether it be yours and mine and the kids, mine and my family of origin, or any situation really, that non-reactivity has just gone. And it has been interesting to observe that. And relative to the kids, you mentioned our eldest, who does have a little propensity to get het up and has got a little bit of a dysregulated nervous system at times. And I sense that with this presence that is now locked in, seemingly, I can see her nervous system go calm. Everyone in the house, except her, no, that even my wife,
that's not true,
is kind of going shh. And so that's really that I love that, particularly with our eldest, to see that having been through this shift and just not through doing anything, because of this, the presence and the calmness, that is naturally healing for our kids. And that is really lovely, because I mean, it's noticeable already, isn't it? It's hugely noticeable.
It's been really transformative for everybody involved.
And then the other thing I would say I noticed has been my energy. So because, as I said in my first video about this awakening, was what I realized is the ego takes up so much energy, because it goes around and it gets kind of get lost in the head, in our identity, and as that's disintegrated to a certain degree, or to a big degree, even though Simon is now back online, it means that the energy is not going up there and getting stuck, and so it goes around the body. And so particularly in that first week, it was like I'd been plugged into a mains. I've said that a few times. And at times remember there was one night where I couldn't really sleep. And my sleeping has decreased hugely. I'm still waking up really early, often dreamless sleep as well. I'm not having dreams. There's nothing really to process. And, but I was in bed and it was just really intense. I felt like I was plugged in. And I remember sort of saying to you, and you were very helpful in that moment, about like, just ride it. And it wasn't that it was unpleasant. It was just, you don't want to be like in bed. That's not the ideal way to fall asleep. So that's been there. And then just my energy more broadly, as you know, I mean, it's gone through the roof, hasn't it?
Yeah. And I think that Simon is someone who usually wakes up very unwell rested, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean,
I have low energy. You have low energy
in the mornings. Yeah, I mean, I've always someone who's been active, sport, tennis, try and do a lot. I'm pretty busy, but yes, I would say my capacity was a lot lower, and I don't feel like I used to get. My sleep improved hugely over the years, but as Alex was just kind of alluding to, oftentimes I could wake up and feel a bit groggy.
Yeah.
I feel a bit not hugely rested. It might take me a bit of time to get into the day, whereas this has just been, which has been, I mean, it's certainly caught you unawares in the mornings a few times. And so that's been another thing, the energy, which is now settled. So now my energy feels it more sort of stabilized. So the non-reactivity, the energy. And then the other thing I would say as well is thinking, like, looking to the future. So the day I got back, I remember this sense of everything being me, and I don't mean me, Simon, but seeing through the illusion of separation, was still very present. So I went walking down the high street, just down the road, and I was looking at like all the shop doors, even the litter on the floor, and it was, this is all me. And so that love for everything was so very clear. And what seems to have happened is, in terms of looking to the future, anxiety, for example, about money or anything like that has, for the time being, gone, because it just all feels one. And so in terms of what we want to do for the future together, because obviously of where I am with my awakening and my coaching, and you with your very strong energetic gifts. So Alex, astral projection, Reiki, Rahani.
Well, we should say about what happened with that.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, go on.
So one of these nights when he was lying in bed and he was so awake.
Yeah.
Was that what it was? You were too awake?
In fact, it was the night I said, when it was just intense. I was lying there like, I mean, sleep is just never going to happen. I feel like I've got a 1,000,000-watt electricity charge coursing through my body.
Yeah. So what we tend to do in those situations, not that we've been in that particular situation before, but in bed, if there's something going on, I will give you Reiki. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I will give you some Rahani. So I started.
Do you want to say what Rahani is, just in case people don't know? Because I didn't.
Celestial energy healing.
So it's like an upgrade of Reiki in many ways.
Well, let's not say upgrade. It's different. It's different. Yeah. So I started like working on him, and usually when I'm doing energy healing, I see colors and I see things, and I could see the colors, could visualize them, and then suddenly it went woof, and it stopped, and everything was black, and I couldn't feel anything, and I got quite freaked out, and I was like, so I just kind of removed my hands, and I was like, that's not, we'll leave that. Yeah. That's not working. But I think, having looked into it afterwards, I think what happened is that because Simon's system is vibrating on a higher level than I have access to, I'm not awakened, I think that quite possibly he just completely rejected this energy.
But it said that, didn't we? Saw that somewhere.
Well, I did.
We read
I started
that.
looking into it.
Yeah, and it said that that's
I
quite
mean,
normal.
who knows what happened, but it was quite odd, and
It was like your power switched off, wasn't it?
and then it freaked you out of it as well, didn't it? But
Well,
I think
didn't know what was happening.
No, but I think that you are just, yeah, I and perhaps the energy is not calibrated to as high as you were.
Yeah. Well, that's
Anyway.
That's the conclusion we arrived at,
yes.
isn't it? Yeah.
Who knows? If anyone has any ideas, please drop it in the comments.
So yeah, and now, I mean, I suppose you're kind of used to it.
Yeah, I'm on board.
This shift and the non-reactivity. You still find it a little bit irritating at times.
No, but irritating in a good way, because it's gone. It's removed the bickering. It's removed the reactivity. It's removed the chaos from the family.
It's not mine, it's impersonal, it's our true nature. It is very healing. And I really see that and I see that with my coaching as well, that of course the interaction is key and insights come up, but really it's the presence, that open-hearted presence, non-reactivity, calm, stillness here, that is so powerful that, as they say, it's the resting in being. It's the being that does the work. That's why Ramana Maharshi said silence is the greatest teacher. I mean, it's true. It's this presence does so much healing and heavy lifting on its own. And so I'm so grateful to have had this awakening where it seems to be just perpetually present, because the way it impacts people, my wife, my kids, my parents, because you went away for the weekend, and being with my parents, Ram Dass says, if you think you're enlightened, spend a week with your parents. It's so nice to be with my parents, because again, those kind of dynamics which have shifted hugely anyway in my life. It was just so funny to observe. My dad would try and be daddy, oh, you must mow the lawn or whatever, and there's just nothing. So again, it just goes, ooh, and it's really amusing. So yeah, so that's, I think, the really beautiful thing about awakening is the impact it has, obviously on me. I mean, I love it, but on the people around as well.
It just ripples outwards, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does, and it's had a really amazing effect.
Yeah, and just in terms of the future, it's really nice. I think I feel so lucky with Alex and myself for lots of reasons, but because you have an energetic gift I don't have. I have never had the experiences you've had, whether it be an astral projection or Reiki or just the healing energy you have. And I was always envious of that. And now I've had this shift. And so I feel like in terms of what we bring as a couple is that yin and yang. So I have that perhaps awakening energy or whatever you want to call it. And you have that healing energy. I think of it as like a Shakti loving energy, and I think together that's really powerful. And so we want to in time do more stuff, and it's sort of shaping up that way of coaching with me and energy work with Alex. And so if that's something that interests you, do get in touch, because seriously, she's powerful. Just to quickly share on that, we've never really spoken about, and we'll record this in another video, but I remember one Reiki session in particular, it was like quite a profound psychedelic experience, and that's when I really realized the power of your energetic gifts. So I do feel that we're very fortunate on that front. Anyway, should we wrap it up there, darling?
Yes.
All right, well, we'll be back.
That was useful for people.
Yes, so do I. And we'll be back with another video soon. Thank you for joining. Bye from both of us.
Thank you. Bye.